Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's June 30th, 2017. The big news today, shooting at a hospital in the Bronx. Gonna show you how this is more propaganda by the numbers, exactly what you get every single day in the mainstream media, which has been the case for your entire life, whether you have realized it or not. Every single day, the news is manufactured. The stories that were presented, it's not to say that bad things don't happen in the world. Bad things that really happen, they don't make the news. Most people who live in cities where bad things happen know this. The things that make the news are things that are manufactured. And instead of having actors, well, you do have actors for this, but the actors are what we consider public servants. They're the police officers, they're the government officials, they're the media personalities. There is an agenda that has always been in place, which most people seem to be oblivious about, no matter how obvious it is. And it is very obvious that this is what's going on. You have to be blind to not see what I'm talking about. But there's an agenda in place to control the minds of the masses. That's why they call the news programming. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. I realized everyone was programmed when I was 18 years old. I had a hunch long before then, but when I was 18, what happened that exposed to me that almost everyone around me was programmed was September 11th. See, I'm not programmed. I've never been programmed. People have told me from a young age, I have eyes to see. I'm logical. I can see things as they are. September 11th, I wasn't fooled for a second. I suspected something crazy was coming in the country. There was a crackhead as the president, the son of a president who we just had before Bill Clinton, who wasn't that smart himself. Mr. Shrub. If you weren't old enough for George W. Bush, that's pretty much all he did. He couldn't even formulate a sentence, so he just always kind of like grinned and shrugged his shoulders. I had to grow up with 8 years of this, from the time I was 17 until he was replaced by Barack Obama, which drove me nuts for another reason. Another puppet that people couldn't see through, no matter how obvious that was. But anyway, September 11th, when it happened, 911, national emergency, towers getting demolished in perfect fashion and nonsensical order. As someone who was, relatively sound in mind about science and understanding physics and whatnot, I just, with my own eyes, I could tell that everything about September 11th didn't make any sense. Steel frame buildings don't fall from fires. Doesn't matter how long they burn for. They could burn for 5 years. It's not going to fall down. Also, the second tower to get hit by the plane, where the plane hit on the corner and everything exploded outside, that tower fell first in perfect demolished fashion. I mean, if it was really getting hot where the fire went off on the corner, the whole building would just tip and fall off, And at the Pentagon, it didn't make any sense. So anyway, when I was 18 years old, I just realized all this. And then they started blaming a man on a cave, and they put this footage of a man on a cave speaking in a language that none of us understood for the most part, and blaming it on him. I just thought, how dumb do they think we are? Well, boy, did I learn something. I learned that my fellow man was totally convinced the man in the cave caused the perfect demolition of the towers. Why, Uncle Shrub was the president of the country. And I just knew. I knew then. I lived in a society of people that had something severely wrong with them. You have to be very mentally deficient to not see everything that was wrong with 9/11, just on the surface. The way the planes melted into the building, that didn't make any sense either. I mean, what were those wings made out of? I was thinking, man, what is that? Was that some... Eventually I figured out it was special effects. It was graphics. We were duped that hard. The news conspires that hard. But I knew from day one the news was treating me like I was an idiot with their prepackaged graphics. War on America. I was just like, wow. It's like watching Die Hard with Bruce Willis or something. And the saddest part about the whole thing was, finding out that my fellow man just wasn't up to it. They couldn't see through the obvious deception. Again, that day, people. I mean, if you're listening somehow and you're thinking I'm crazy and 9/11 really happened, I mean, that day they told you that they couldn't find the planes or the bodies or the luggage, but they found the terrorist passports made out of paper. You know, they told you that they found turbans, cloth turbans made it. They didn't find any bodies, but they found some turbans and passports and a nice little neat pile. And then they also found the box cutter knives, of course, right? The box cutter knives. As I've said before, if this is a true story, if I'm mistaken, if it's true that they couldn't find anything but they found the paper passports and the box cutter knives and the turbans, then we need to start teaching engineering and science different, because clearly those are the materials that all things should be built from. So September 11th, you just have to realize, I mean, if they're going to lie to you like that, your media, your government, well, why wouldn't they just do that every other day? And didn't the whole process look like a joke, this whole country, even before that? Again, Uncle Numbnuts was the president. Remember how he became president? First they announced Al Gore, the most robotic man there ever was. Talk about programming, as your president. He won the election. Al Gore won. The vice president to Bill Clinton won the election. The celebration was on. The TV announced it across the board. Al Gore, your next president. I was a senior in high school, and we had to be doing a report on it for our current events class or whatever it was called back then. Then Fox News came in and said, oh, whoa, in Florida, it's too close to call. And who was the governor in Florida? Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush. You know, Jeb Bush, the brother of George W. Bush. Now Florida's saying maybe Bush has won. And if Bush has won Florida, then Bush has won the election. And what was so funny about it to me is the same current events class, for weeks in our local paper, at the time I was living in Southwest Washington, Vancouver, Washington, our paper there for the past week, probably just like all over the nation, it was talking about the election and how it was going to come down to Florida. And I kept saying, you know, to my teacher then, I said, well, if they just know it's going to come down to one state, and because of all the, you know, surveying that they do, I mean, why isn't anyone even voting? And that was the most I'd paid attention to election that year, 2000. I was 17 then. And sure enough, it came down to Florida. Just as what was written about in our paper for 2 weeks before that, and I'm sure everybody else's paper all over the country. So, I mean, they told you what it was going to be. They told you their planned event. It's going to come down to Florida. It's going to be a nail-biter. I just knew it all back then. I mean, even before 9/11, I was like, this is a joke. I mean, this is a joke. This idiot's the president, his brother's the governor, and you couldn't tell how dumb Jeb Bush was back then because he didn't say much, but God, how dumb was that guy? They put him up against the Orange Oompa Loompa. They had to put up all these clown characters. Do you see what they did in this recent election? How they put up this whole cast of clowns, bunch of goofballs. You literally had Republican debates where Donald Trump was arguing people about who had the bigger hands. And he's the president of the United States. The guy who came out, well, it's all part of the scripted news, but, you know, he came out and admitted he was the groper, the pervert, the repulsive man. But the point is, people, you know, before I get into this ridiculous news today, the doctor shooting in the hospital, something that didn't happen, guarantee you, stage drill with your police, your media, meant to deceive us all. I'm just trying to, you know, give you the backstory about the nation you're living in, since so many of you don't get it yet. It's all a big show. It's all a big contained show. And all of you go, well, how could they keep in the secrets? Well, why don't you speak up about the things that are wrong at your workplace? Because I know how almost everyone is in the workplace. They don't like their job. They're taken advantage of. There's all sorts of corruption. Why doesn't anyone speak up? Why doesn't it get taken down? You already know the answer. Because everyone just does what they got to do for their paycheck. Because that's the world we live in. Shut up. You know, it's that Kendrick Lamar song. I told you that song came out on LeBron James Day. It was about LeBron sitting down and be humble. But anyway, that's what it is. You live in a show. You live in a world that's controlled. It's a system. You know, the pieces are in place. We're all controlled by the same things. Money. Everyone knows that they go to job, they waste their time. They do something that's meaningless, but they do it because then they can feed themselves. Then they can live under a roof. instead of under a bridge. You know, this is what's going on across the whole world. And you know why? Because the people don't rise up against it. They don't see that they're slaves in the system. They don't see that they're being lied to for the sake of control. They don't see that the powers that be are doing this because we're, as a population, growing so rapidly. You know, in the last 100 years, there's more than 3 times as many people alive. And what are governments interested in? Controlling people. So how do you control people? Well, just like how it's being done to us. More and more laws so that people have less and less freedom. More and more surveillance, more and more police, more and more fear, keeping people indoors. City parks are abandoned. Children seem like they're an extinct species. It's so sad, the children of the nation. When I was a kid growing up in the 80s, the early 90s, young child, I can remember one child who was fat. One. Now in those situations where I'm up in the morning, I'm going past the school bus, I see the kids out there. I mean, it's a line of fat kids. They're all fat. So these are the consequences of living in the nation we're in and not seeing what's going on and not speaking up. Poisonous propaganda meant to scare us, meant to make us think we need Big Brother, we need to go bomb some brown man in some part of the world, you know. All of this stuff, it's all the reason things are as they are, which are mostly awful for everyone. People stressed out from working too much, not making enough money, you know, constantly grinding, turning on the news, it's all negativity and hate and fear, another shooting, another terrorist, another murderer, another Zika virus. All manufactured fear just to weigh on the minds of the people who are already mentally exhausted. And that's why we get this story, June 30th, another one. And let's not forget, in May, I told everyone to mark down June 3rd and June 30th on their calendar for news stories. Thought we might get something more Trump-related, but I said June 3rd and June 30th, those are days they're doing things. And we got shootings. London, June 3rd. New York City, June 30th. Related stories. This is the New World Order. This is not unique to the United States. September 11th, to say it was covered out by the U.S. government's only partially true. The U.S. has never been a sovereign nation. It's a banker tyrant nation. It's a Masonic nation. It's a Zionist nation. Always has been, from the beginning. July 4th represents the Masons and the Zionists. That's what it's all about. Have 100 videos on it. Have 1,000 videos on it. But look at this. I just want to start here. I've talked about this so many times. Freemasonry, they control the show. They control your police, your media, your hospitals. That's why our healthcare is so horrible. It's all part of their divisive system about exploiting people. And no, not all of Freemasonry is bad, but the Freemasonry at the top that runs the show, they're evil. They're satanic. So anyway, hospital has this Gematria 44, like shooting, like officer. Also, the other way around, the 2 reduction methods, 37, 37, 37 for shooting hospital and officer as well. If you don't know the methods, you need to get to gematrinator.com. These are your 4 base methods. You get over here, you type in related words, your mind's going to be blown. All of these systems are based on the alphabetic order, forwards and back. English ordinal is the alphabetic order A to Z. Reverse ordinal is Z is 1 up to A is 26. Ordinal is A is 1 up to Z is 26. And just a thing like baseball. You see these 2 54s? 54 outs in a complete game. 162, that's the number of games in a Major League Baseball season. Here's what's cool. Things like this. Major League Baseball, 162. You see? This year, the first no-hitter of the season on June 3rd, thrown by number 36 weeks after the death of his pitching teammate. His name, Gematria 63, got a video on this. This is also the 154th day of the year. On this same day of the first no-hitter of the season, there was a record amount of grand slams, 7 on the 154th day of the year, June 3rd. The old baseball schedule, 154 games. The credited creator of baseball, Abner Doubleday, 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. Freemasonry, Everything that they've built, they've named accordingly. The entire language is a numerical system. This is the foundation. This isn't all of it. This is not all of it at all. All of these other methods that people want to come and say, oh, now you're just cherry picking and making things up. Not at all. Not at all. To make a point, I'm going to pick this Kabbalah cipher right here. Chigozi Truth, somebody who learned from me, he taught me something important today. English alphabet in this system sums to 187. Why does this matter? This is the Kabbalah-related English cipher. This is the true cipher. Kabbalah is the Jewish mysticism that God created the world with language when God merged the letter with the number, and the code comes from the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, the Jewish holy book. There are 187 chapters in the Torah. The most are in Genesis, 50. 187 chapters. Now remember how boss this number is in this nation. George Washington, using the alphabetic order, is 187. Washington, D.C., 187. Forwards, backwards. Also, headquarters of the federal government, as well as the ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry, 187. 187. Freemasonry based in the Old Testament, the Torah. Albert Pike, who has his statue in D.C. with the book Morals and Dogma in his arm, said that Masonry owes all of its secrets and symbolism to Kabbalah, the belief that God created the world with language when God merged the letter with the number. Remember also, Society of Jesus, the official name of the Jesuit order. Donald Trump raised in a Jesuit family. Right now we have the first publicly Jesuit pope. The official name of the Jesuits, Society of Jesus, from Trump's birthday to the Pope's birthday, 187 days. Just like how Trump had his GOP convention July 18th, 18/7, 187 days before Inauguration Day. 187. And think about who they've been comparing Trump to. Richard Nixon, 187. A number of U.S. presidents have the 187 coding. The last Republican president was George W. Bush, born on July 6th, the 187th day of the year. George Washington, 187. George W. Remember how Dan Rather had to retire? Dan Rather had to retire for calling out Bush about his fake military service? Look at this. This is why Gematria is the language to know, and this is why my blog and YouTube channel were deleted, because I'm exposing the truth. George W. Bush, I want everyone to see what he served in the military. Can you guess what number I'm going to show you? He served in 2 different numbers that are relevant. Come down to his military service. There he is, W. Served in the Air Force like his father. W served from 68. Remember, he graduated in 68. He became the president 33 years later, graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. Let's not forget Yale equals 43. He was the 43rd president. His brother was the 43rd governor of Florida. His father was the 43rd vice president. But look at his little, military service here. The 147th Reconnaissance Wing and the 187th Fighter Wing. So 187, we covered that, right? Well, what's up with 147? Remember, there's 147 windows at the White House. And why is that? Freemason, 147, right here. Let me get rid of this Kabbalah cipher. Freemason, conspiracy, 147. Check out U.S. President, 147. Check out President of the United States, 147. 147 windows at the White House. Check out 50 states and 1 million territories. 50 states, 147. How about the 4th of July? 4th of July, 147. There. Think about Bastille Day in France, 14/7. Donald Trump going over to France for Bastille Day. Take a stab at the Gematria Bastille Day, 187. Masonic nation, Masonic symbolism, the Statue of Liberty sent over from France. Britain, the other Masonic nation. Their code is deep. And speaking of France, Paris, France, 187. Remember on Hitler's birthday this year, the Hoax. And then 47 days later, another one. In Genesis 47, Jacob dies at 147 years old. Again, all of this comes from the Torah. Jacob, the name for Israel. Jacob, a name having to do with taking over, like the New World Order. But anyway, Adolf Hitler, you know what day he released his book Mein Kampf in history? What day did he release his book? July 18th, 18/7, just like the first day of Trump's convention, 187 days before Inauguration Day. It's not a coincidence. The world is a stage. It's run by the Zionists. They do it all by the numbers. They've been doing it by the numbers for centuries, as long as news has been around, as long as government's been around. All these roads go back to Egypt, too. So check this out. The hospital, Bronx Lebanon Hospital, has that 106 code. We see this a lot around tragedy, number for authority. When the story first broke, they didn't say it was a doctor, right? And this was my blog post. This is my blog post when it was the early reporting. Here's the early reporting down here. Multiple people were shot on Friday at Bronx Lebanon Hospital in New York, according to a New York Police Department spokeswoman. Police have no information on the number of people injured or their condition, said NYPD spokeswoman Annette Shelton. The shooter, who remains at large, is believed to be a former hospital employee, local law enforcement told CNN. The NYPD has advised people to avoid the area. Well, they don't want people there because they don't want, people to see the hoax, the very clear hoax. Again, hospitals are controlled by Freemasonry, just like your police. You see how for these celebrities, they'll close down hospitals, they'll shut down floors, they'll inconvenience the masses for celebrities. They'll inconvenience the masses for one of their rituals that's about controlling the people of the nation, the world. But here's what I wrote. I said, and as always, the 33 is present in New York, a land of you-know-what deception. Try not to get the channel deleted today, since they just deleted the main channel. But here we go. New York, 33. Land of 33, land of false flags, 1968 when the World Trade Center construction began. Same year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code from 68 to 2001, 33 years. Big ritual in New York. World Center, New York 33, Police 33, Masonry 33, Secrecy 33, False Flag 33. I said, watch them blame it on a doctor, 33. It just seemed too fitting with them saying it was a former hospital employee. Even if it wasn't there, I might have joked that anyway. Watch them blame it on a doctor. But this is what I mean. I can be ahead of the news, like I always am. Just in this month alone, I said mark down June 3rd and June 30th. Got our big false flag shooting stories. Also, after the June 3rd story, I said, watch, the next false flag will be in Paris, France. And then what happened? 24 hours later, right after I made that video, another false flag in Paris, France, 47 days after the last one on Hitler's birthday. But anyhow, again, it's news by the numbers. Why is this happening in the Bronx today? Because it's the right day for the Bronx in the Kabbalah language of Gematria. Bronx equals 73 using the alphabetic order. Today's date, 73 numerology. It's the Bronx Lebanon Hospital. It's June 30th, has the 36 connection. When you sum the numbers 1 through 36, it sums to 666. Show you something about New York real quick. New York has Gematria of 111, like why I said in spring training, the year before the 111th World Series, the Mets would be in the 111th World Series. They lost to the Royals. But anyway, September 11th, the day that leaves 111 days left in the year, if you multiply this times 6, what is known as Sumerian Gematria, New York 666. Special number, 666, the number of a man, humanity 666. See my video on NASA and their astronaut in space for 666 days? If you write out the full name of NASA, which I always forget off the top of my head, but their full name equals 666 in the reverse ordinal. And again, NASA, run by Freemasonry. Your Bible, written by Freemasons. The English versions are most certainly all encoded with Gematria, Freemasonry. Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism, applies to Christianity, Islam, the occult. Kabbalah has expanded into all the religions of the world. All of them. And there's a reason for that. And I've talked about the reason. It seems that the Jewish people who created this are actually right. It really does seem that they are right. God works somehow through letters and numbers. All of us who've applied it to our own lives, we've seen impossible coincidences. That doesn't mean all of these news stories are real. What this is the Masons exploiting the code for their own mind control, whatever it is. However they got the people under the spell that I began this video with. So today's June 30th as well. It's the 181st day of the year. That's the 42nd prime number, NYC 42. You know, the first headline, what'd it say? NYC Hospital. Perfect day for an NYC-related hoax. Then here's the updated headline, Doctor opens fire. I mean, of course, you know. Of course it was going to be a doctor opens fire. Then they got another story with supposedly an airplane crash. Minute 13, 113. Is that not 73 seconds? On the date was 73 numerology. And of course, 113, in case you're new here, mainstream 113, dishonest 113, bullshit 113, fiction 113, not true 113, infidelity. So many things that have to do with dishonesty. Perjury. So many things having to do with dishonesty are 113. Bava Kama 113a from the Talmud says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who isn't, as long as it's in a legal setting. Well, we live in a nation of laws. That means everything's a legal setting. Just think about it. And of course, the nation, the laws protect the media from lying. The media, it's okay to lie. Just like it's okay to lie in advertisements. I mean, there's a line you could cross, but almost everything's protected under freedom of speech. So the new details, then eventually they put out his name, Dr. Henry Bello. Henry Bello, hello. Notice they say that the person who died on the 17th floor. Remember, modern Freemasonry began with the Grand Lodge of London, 1717, June 24th. 1717, Mason equals 17, God equals 17, Egypt 17, Moses 17. When you sum 1 through 17 together, it sums to 153. Holy Bible, 153. Miraculous catch of 153 fish. More. Jesuit orders, 153. The day they made the Christian day of worship Sunday. But anyway, 1 dead on the 17th floor. Of course, the word kill also equals 17. And 6 wounded on the last day of the 6th month on the 16th floor. 16 and 90 are the two numbers when you write out that sum to 33. 1633, 9033. Our false flag, our masonry number, our police number. What all did I put up here? You know? Again and again, always present. Number of the ritual. These are rituals. These are Masonic rituals. So Dr. Henry Bello, named Gematria 66. If you sum the numbers 1 through 11 together, it sums to 66, New York, the 11th state. His English ordinal gematria is also the same as Trump. All of this is fake news, and oftentimes you don't see exactly how they're going to connect the pieces, but just by documenting, just whatever comes next, well, we might have another clue, you know? Maybe next thing, Donald Trump has a problem with a doctor. The word federal also equals 138. It's more than just Donald Trump, that number. This is a federal agenda. That's probably the fairest way to look at that number. 138, federal, Donald Trump, bunch of other things. Of course, federal's also 33. Should have put that on the list, right? Henry the gunman. They referred to him as the gunman. Henry the gunman. Perfect. Also, the Gematria of 19 and 46. Those are the numbers I've taught about for years. They show up all the time in these hoaxes, especially in New York. Well, really all over. Just New York has so many of these. All of you who are thinking, well, what about like the Eric Gardner story? Just whatever you're thinking of. Yeah, they're all fake news stories. Every last one of them. Remember how the big deal was that he had a 99 on his back? Flip that number upside down. 66. 99 is also important. But anyway, chaos, 1946, all these stories, all of them over the years, completely fake. Fake news, it's all you get. September 11th to the present, you haven't seen a single real news story. Missing blonde girl out of nowhere after they were just telling you about the war. You know, I mean, just that's what I realized when I was a teenager, early 20s. I mean, if you watch the news, they'd be scaring you about a terrorism threat. You know, we're on a red, orange alert. There's this disease outbreak. There's this E. coli outbreak. I mean, you turn on the news like, Jesus. And then all of a sudden, it's the final half hour of the program's a missing blonde girl in Aruba. And you're like, I mean, what? I mean, you're talking about like maybe a city is about to get blown up. You got these, you guys know what I'm saying. It's just, if you just start to think about it, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. And you're right, it doesn't make any sense. It's all meant to mess with your head, control your mind's eye. It's the point I'm trying to get to you. This is the chaos code. Chaos staged to intimidate you, to scare you. The motto is order out of chaos. Create the problem, provide the solution. His name has all sorts of numbers. I could talk about all these numbers up here, connecting to murder, death, killing. And again, the 17th floor, the one dead person on the 17th floor. You got to imagine that's a floor that's less used, right? You know? So special number there, 17. Just telling you about the connection to the Holy Bible. I thought there was something else in here. I thought I put the... Oh, yeah. I almost skipped over this part. The police officer who gave us this story, Annette Shelton... I didn't even do her full name, but just Shelton right away, it was enough. She had just the perfect name, the same numbers we see all the time. Shelton has the 33, the 93, and the 96. 93, our number for propaganda. 96, very important number to Freemasonry. You know? Good name for a police officer. As they always are, these media police spokespeople. I really think that these routine police officers that we see in these cities that are always reporting these hoaxes, I think that this is their position. This is the purpose of their position. Trained to lie to the public about something that didn't happen. And they are paid for with your taxpayer dollars, which should be a problem to everyone. So again, today, 181st day of the year, 181 the 42nd prime. Big number to Freemasonry, NYC. Want to make a point. I said on June 3rd and June 30th, mark down those dates. Could get big news stories. They could be connected to Trump. We could see signs of the tanking of the market. Today, the market did great. But remember, the market's always up until the day it collapses. And that is what is being foreshadowed. And with regards to these shootings being in London and New York, London is the biggest market city in the world, and New York, you know, the biggest in the U.S., right up there in the world. I guess this website says it's number 4. Some places you look, it might say New York's number 2. Or perhaps it's just the sign of America, you know, going down in the ranks. And deservedly so. I mean, we're a nation of people who've taken everything for granted. We're a nation of lazy, obese, intellectually absent people. So that's the news. That's the news out of New York. Another false flag. The Bronx getting picked on by the numbers. Just want to show you guys something real quick. You know, my main YouTube channel was deleted, and I've noticed some people leaving nice, helpful comments, and the people I've been trying to respond to today, it's just like I can't respond to anyone, it seems like. So, I need to be finishing the book. That's what I've been working on today, so I'm going to use the rest of the day for. I just wanted to cover this news story in light of the fact that I told people to watch out for this day for this reason. But anyway, I'm not going to be responding to comments on YouTube. It looks like they're phasing me out of being able to respond. I don't know if it's just going on today or what. Can't like people's comments, can't respond. But anyway, main channel deleted. This channel is probably going to be deleted soon. If it gets deleted, you guys, I'm not going anywhere. Got the radio show every Wednesday on TFR. Got the blog. They deleted that. If they delete it, I'll bring it back somewhere else. They can try to stop the message, but that's all they can do is try, right? As long as I don't let them stop the message, they can't stop it. And the message is out now. Other people are promoting and always trying to get more people to promote. But I appreciate this comment, saying to come out to her town. People are active and open-minded. If you got a town that's open and active-minded and you want to let me know, I'm planning a book tour, about to release a book. When the book comes out, I want to come visit people, where the inquiring minds are, and start raising awareness and getting people speaking out and working together. That's the mission. So Bloomington, Indiana. I wrote it on the notepad, This person's sad that my Sandy Hook video was taken down. That's what they deleted my channel over. It's still on this backup channel. for how long, I don't know, but it's still here. If you want to download it now, you can still get that video on this channel and download. You can download every video off of this channel. Please do. This guy right here, he asked if I could do something on this cardinal. Well, I even talked about it in the video, so maybe he ended up seeing me talk about it in the video, but for anyone who heard this news story about top Catholic cardinal charged with sexual assault offenses, his name was Cardinal George Pell, 322. Remember, this is what went down in history. The Catholic Church and the Rosicrucians, who have Masonic orders they are Masonic orders, they conspired, and they worked together, and they established the United States of America. And they created modern English as we know it. And they've been running everything by a numerical code ever since. And the English versions of the Bible, they purposefully put in the old world occult knowledge, including Kabbalah and Gematria and probably a whole bunch of other things that I don't know about. Because in one man's lifetime, it's hard to learn about, most things in this world. Case in point, nobody in the world had ever covered this topic before I came along. And why did I find this topic? Because I was looking for the truth from the day of September 11th that could wake up the masses. On September 11th, I learned that by telling people that the news didn't make any sense, just showing them logic, it didn't appeal to them. Logic didn't appeal. I realized I had to go beyond logic. I had to find something, greater to prove to people what's going on in this world, which is so transparent for anyone with eyes to see, which isn't enough. Not yet. But anyway, 322. Number of Yale Skull and Bones. Remember John Kerry, George W. Bush, 2004. Same members of the same secret society at Yale. Same class. Think about that. Group of 15 men. 2 of them running for president against each other in 2004. And people can't see it. Tim Russert asked them both about 322. Tim Russert ended up dead at 2:23 in the afternoon as it was reported. Cardinal George Pell, 322, just like ancient mystery religions, which is, again, all the occult religions, just like Abrahamic religions, which is Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, which was created by the Catholic Church, most likely. And who are the Catholic Church? The Catholic Church, who's at the beginning of the Bible, you guys? The Jewish part. The Jesuits, the Jesuits in the Catholic Church. That's what so many people say, Zach, it's not the Zionists, it's the Catholic Church. Do you understand that the Catholic Church is the Zionists? It's the exact same people. It's not a question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Judaism way before the Catholic Church. Way before. Why do you think the Vatican's all decked out in jewelry? Probably more jewelry in that building than the rest of the world combined. Also about the ancient mystery religions, remember how they staged an event on September 11th, 11/9 in most parts to destroy the people of the world? Star of David 119, Master Plan 119. Again, I'm going to link this down below. You just get down here and start typing. Star of David using the alphabetic order 119. Master Plan 119. All-seeing eye 119, Vatican 119, Francis 119. Got a confession for you. Your religion's a fraud. Your religion's a big fraud. All of you Christians, his name was Yeshua, so why the hell would they change his name to Jesus? Why would they change his name to Jesus? He's already got a name, it's Yeshua. We got all the letters in the alphabet to spell it. Why are we changing his name to Jesus? Again, got to break it down for you guys. Pay attention. 7461. Jesus 7461. Cross. You see? Messiah's got the 74. Gospel's got the 74. Also, Lucifer in the King James Bible. Lucifer's only in the King James Bible. Another name for Satan. Has a lot of parallels with Jesus. Morning Star. Holy Bible, 45 forwards and back. Also 153 like we talked about. The King James Bible 1611 was made when he was 45 years old. And what's King James equal? 89, like religion, when spelled correctly. Religion, just like the number of books, or chapters, excuse me, in the gospel. The gospel is 89 chapters. Religion. 89 is the 11th Fibonacci number. God's mathematical spiral. Jesus 11. The Bible's 66 books. If you sum 1 through 11 together, it sums to 66. Revelation equals 121. Its square root is 11. The 66th book, 1 through 11, added equals 66. The 66th book, Revelation, equals 121. You see how this works? The whole book is mathematics. The first book of the New Testament is Matthew, that starts with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. Math 42, New Testament 42. You see? Matthew, 42 generations to Jesus, the Savior, 42. The 42 laws of Ma'at, ancient Egypt, where the first one is about sin, 42. So here's this supposedly sinning cardinal. Notice the word cardinal, 35 like Catholic. We've had one Catholic president, number 35, JFK, who died at age 46. This year, the 145th pick of the NFL draft was a player out of Michigan the day after the head coach of Michigan visited with the Pope. Jake Dick Butt, as his name was reported then. Now it's just Jake Butt. But anyhow, this news came on a date with 71 numerology. Same date they terminated my channel at 3:53 in the afternoon on the date with 73 numerology. Been telling you guys about 353 and 71 for years. You know? Deleted the channel. 3:53 on the date with 71 numerology. CNN also had this follow-up story about this Pope and the... Remember, this is the Pope, the Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. His birthday 187 days from Trump's. But look at this. Here's about the Pope and this man supposedly with the allegations, George Pell. Blind spot. They emphasize it here. They emphasize it here. Why? Blind spot, 666 in the times 6 method. Number of the beast. Show you something else about the number of the beast. Beast using the alphabetic order 47. Check out Vatican, 47. Check out Francis, 47. Check out authority, 47. Talk about Christian, 47. 47. Number of the beast. Book that teaches you about 666. You know, this number goes all over. President, 47. Government, 47. White House, 47. DC, 47. Trump, 47. Never caught that about DC and Sumerian before. 42. What else? Named after the Freemason George Washington, who has the 42nd state, Washington, named after him. He died at age 67. George W. Bush, born on July 6th, 6/7, the 187th day of the year. Also, blind spot, one other connect, 132 like Catholic Church. The reason the Catholic Church, which is essentially world government, a huge part of the New World Order, the reason they allow this to go on, that being outed for pedophilia, is because they know that nobody's going to do anything about it. Just like the same reason the U.S. government started a war with nations that had nothing to do with September 11th, and then admitted that to everyone. And what did anybody do about it? You see? That's the whole problem in this world. We can be mocked, we can be tormented, we can be lied to, and they know that almost nobody's going to do anything about it. That's what has to change. And again, just want to let you guys know what's going on. Finishing the book, This is the proposed cover and title. Very plain, very simple. A lot of people hate my title that I have picked out for the book that's coming out that's revealing this code. Numbers and letters. I'm going to let you guys know why I want the title to be this. Numbers and letters has the gematria of 187. 187 is the source code of gematria. Doesn't it make sense? And this is what it's all about. Numbers and letters. Also, I don't want it to look like it's a major conspiracy book because conspiracy is a word that's been programmed into the minds of the masses to stay away from. Conspiracy is not to be taken seriously. It's for crazy people. It's for schizophrenic people. It's for people who need to be on meds. So I have to address everything the right way so people will read it. People who hate conspiracy, they entertain certain things. JFK. More and more people are saying, well, maybe something was up with 9/11. Not thinking about it all the way. I mean, if you realize something's up with these things, you got to think, well, if they do it then, why wouldn't they do it tomorrow? Why wouldn't they do it the next day? Which is exactly what they do. And for another 187, JFK assassination, killed in the 187th year of the nation's existence on November 22nd, 1122. And that's just the tip of the iceberg for all of these things, you know? And for all the people who say that, these other methods are bogus, no, they're not bogus at all. Tisha B'Av, 9/11, this is not a coincidence. Tisha B'Av is the Jewish Remembrance Day of the destruction of the two temples. The destruction of the two temples. 9/11, the Twin Towers. Remember how construction began? In 68, Solomon's Temple 68. Solomon's Temple is one of the two towers remembered in Tisha B'Av. Notice Solomon's Temple also 185. Check out World Trade Center. Solomon's Temple is the more important of the two temples. That's what Freemasonry, a lot of its secrets and symbolism are attributed to through the Kabbalah Code. Again, all of this stuff's from the Old Testament of the Bible. All of it, the whole code comes from the Bible. And 187 is the number of chapters in the Torah. 1189 is the number of chapters in the Bible. Guess what my little subtitle sums to, So, the title's more clever than you know. If enough people hate this so much, people have literally written me and said they're not going to buy the book if I keep this as the title. Some people hate the title that much. They don't care even about the content. They need the title to be right. They say the cover's too boring. Look, I'm that person who's about don't judge a book by its cover. This type of cover is inexpensive, so I can charge less for the book. Plus, for me, this catches my eye. This color of green, it's not like my favorite color, but it catches my eye. I want this book to catch people's eye. Numbers and letters, what's this about? Well, I get right to the point in the book, so you read one page, you're like, wow, maybe I should read a little bit more here, Somebody suggested that I put the numbers under the letters. I need help with that. I don't know. Well, maybe I could figure it out. I made this cover myself in a free application. It's limited in what it can do, but maybe somebody out there can spice it up a little bit. But I do like the title. If enough people hate it, you just let me know. So, okay, let's address one more thing. Actually. After this video, again, you guys, I can't be doing this. YouTube's going to delete the channel all the way. I mean, they might do it just for making this, but just want to let you guys know I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's changed. The YouTube, Google trying to suppress me, that's just temporary. Just going to have to come back even harder. But the other point I want to address is I have created a GoFundMe, and part of the reason I use GoFundMe is because I want to put it back in their face. I know that the powers that shouldn't be control GoFundMe, and I want them to see that people support me, and they can't stop it. They can't stop the movement. They can't stop what I'm trying to do in this world. Create the Truth Soldiers, the Truth Alliance, to put an end to the tyranny. So, I've said, I'm trying to raise $100,000 by the election in 2020. So that by that election, enough people know the truth about the shenanigans going on in this country, and the game's up. That election, it's not going to be one of their puppets. It's not going to be one of their stooges. In the GoFundMe, I said, I did joke. People don't pick up on humor, but I said if all goes to plan, there'll be, President Zachary Hubbard. I'm not exactly being serious. But you know what? If the opportunity presented itself, government, our whole government, it is a big show. But we need to change. We need to take over this system and change it into what it needs to be. So if the avenue became possible that I could run for president, absolutely I would. I would know I could be a real good leader for this nation. Positive influence, teach people real information, teach them how to be, decent people. Look what we have right now. We have a goon in there teaching people to be liar, dishonest, unaccountable, misogynistic, disrespectful to all groups, except for his owners. We know who they are. Nobody ever says a word about them in the media. But anyway, just for putting out the campaign, I got all these people, here's Russian vids. Here's somebody who, Russian vids is everything that's wrong with the world. I mean, look at this man. Does anybody know what he looks like? He's never put his face on the screen, not once. Nobody knows what his real name is. He doesn't put his face on the screen. And what's he do? He takes from the people out here who speak real knowledge. He takes from them. He's smart enough to know who to take from. But then he spends so much time attacking the people who he steals from. I've never made a video about Russian vids. This person's irrelevant to me other than the fact that they have influence on so many people who then show up at my channel questioning me about Russian vids' latest lies and slanders. He puts up a video here today and he says, I'm a hypocrite because I'm calling out the channels that ask for donations through their donate button. He said, what's the difference? What's the difference if Zach's going to ask for donations on GoFundMe? He played a clip of my video and then cut out exactly what I said after that. The difference is, for all the people who are deceived by Russian vids, the difference is to have a donate button on your YouTube page, you have to use advertisements. You have to enable advertisements. And I'm not going to do that to the people who watch my videos. I make a 40-minute video, a channel with advertisements. If you watch a 40-minute video, you get about 7 breaks. Maybe even, every 5 minutes? Every 8? So if I made a 40-minute video, you'd have to stop and skip the video or the commercial 8 times? No, I'm not going to do that to people. I want people to get the information. I don't want to be paid pennies on the dollars for advertisements. And like I said in the video, ads support the tyrants. A lot of people told me I should monetize my channel because then they probably wouldn't delete it. And maybe that was true. Maybe if I monetized the channel, it wouldn't have been deleted. I'm not making money for Google. All I'm doing is exposing the truth. That's not what Google's here for. Google's in the, publicly traded game. The other big joke of our society, Ponzi scheme, money, Wall Street. People don't even understand. We live in a nation of corporations. What is the first thing on every corporate charter? Every corporation has the first point of purpose. There's not a single corporation in the nation that's publicly traded that has a different first point of purpose. And what is it? To make a return on investment for the shareholder, which means that every corporation, and that's food, that's medicine, the first priority isn't for the customer, it's for the shareholder. And then, of course, we have a nation of investors who've never worked a day in their life who don't have to pay taxes on their investment because that's the way the whole society's structured. The working slave pays taxes and fees and pretty much their whole paycheck away just to stay afloat. The rich investor who just, sits back like Dr. Evil with their pinky up, they just collect their return on investment, pay no taxes on it, and we as a people don't do anything about it. So anyway, Russian vids. Cowardly person will never put his face on the screen. Will steal from me. I mean, in the time I've been here, he's even learned to speak like me. He uses the same phrases I use. He tries to share Gematria, but he's constantly making these videos slandering me and false allegations. And also, it just shows, for any of you who follow this guy, I don't know what's wrong with you. Obviously, you don't know how to use your time wisely. And obviously, you don't respect yourselves to watch this man. He's nothing but a liar, a cheat, someone that's here to stir up senseless division and lead people astray. He's going to chop up my video and then act like he doesn't know the reason for exactly what I said about why I don't monetize my channel and what's wrong with the channels that do. You know, just straight up deception. And this is the same idiot who's put out all these videos, like he continues to do this, even though I've addressed this a million times. This picture right here, my face zoomed in with this book back here, Jewish Wisdom in the Numbers. Why do you think I had that book on display? First of all, that book was sent to me in the mail by somebody who follows my work. It's about Gematria and Kabbalah, and I had recommended it long before I put it in the back multiple times. I said, if you want to learn more about this Gematria and code and the meaning of the numbers, pick up this book right here. So I did a video and I put the book up in the background. I mean, to act like this is some sign that I'm a shill, it's just the most brain-dead argument ever in light of what pretty much my whole channel is about. Exposing the code with how the conspiracies are truly rigged, from fake news to rigged sports. But they just continue to do it. And what's very funny is I guarantee you, if you could see who Russian Vids is, you would find out that he's the same person that's a call for an uprising. Both channels using a voice modulator, not only do they hide their faces, they change their speech so people can't recognize them. But pay attention to Russian Vids and a call for an uprising. This video right here that he put up is by a call for an uprising. Every time a call for an uprising makes a video about me, Russian Vids posts it right away, mirrors it immediately. But pay attention to these two. They're both the same. They make stupid videos about every news topic that comes, and they hardly even talk about the news. And they recycle all the same tired ideas. The same stuff that's not supporting anything. It's essentially information porn. You know, attracts lower quality inquiring minds, if you will. I mean, the people who follow Russian Vids and a call for an uprising, they're definitely stupid. You have to be stupid to follow these people. The only thing good about Russian Vid's channel is that he shares the Gematria knowledge. But even then, he lies about it. He'll say that words equal things they don't. And he pretty much only talks about 33. So, and not only that, but every time he brings up my name, he says, Zach overdoes it with Gematria, and he makes it seem like everything's that, which is the lie. It's because everything is that's coming through the news. Everything coming through the news is that. There's no exceptions. It's every single day. It's why I prove it nonstop, around the clock, 365. You know, takes 5 seconds to look at these stories. Well, I mean, just look at, now that my channel's been deleted, if you search my name, it's mostly all the videos that are just trying to expose me as if I can be exposed. But, here's Russian Vids. Just look at what kind of loser this is. Does this look fake to you? My house, I put out a police report, first of all. So just ask yourself, what kind of researcher is Russian Vids? He said that this is a fake hoax that I made up. There's a police report. It says who did it. It says that I wasn't here, just like I explained. I was in Portland visiting my family. This happened on Christmas Eve after I was threatened for Christmas Eve by another YouTube channel, Montagraph. Remember I told you about 113? Montagraph? Check this guy's name out. 113 using the alphabetic order. Montagraph puts out a threat for me on Christmas Eve. My house gets crashed into. Immediately you got Russian Vids, 47. Look at the numbers here, you guys. Russian Vids. What happens if you add the S exceptions to Russian Vids? 74. Almost all these shield channels coded out with the numbers that we talk about all the time. And do you think it's a coincidence? Not at all. Russian Vids, major agent. Why do you think all of these channels spend all their time making videos about me? How many videos has Russian Vids now made about me? But anyway, just what an idiot he is. Definitive proof something hit my house. How do you rip the corner off of a house? This is major damage. Not only that, but I even uploaded the police report. So you have proof that it happened. And then you put out 2 videos saying it's a hoax. And that I did it to my own house. Just envision what that would look like. A man tearing off the corner of his house in his own neighborhood. I live on a fairly busy street. There's no way I would ever get away with it. Russian vids never covered how Montegraph threatened me for Christmas Eve. He must have just thought that was coincidental. Ignore all the evidence of what really happened and then just make up a bizarre story. And if you want to watch these videos, they're actually pretty funny. He says that my neighbor has 2 tall trees here, and he says that's the 9/11 symbolism. Those are the twin peaks. Oh, man, is bad. Guy on my own radio station, you know. Pretty sure we know what breed he is. Another flat earther trying to hate. Here's another Russian vids video explaining when I said I don't want to put myself in a group. That's what I did in the video. I said I don't want to put myself in a group like this. That's what I was explaining in the video. And then he says that this is a proof that I'm a Freemason occultist. It's just a joke, you guys. And then, just other morons on YouTube that think Russian vids are legit and somehow I'm a shill. Then they start, oh yeah, look, does this look right? I mean, are you guys experts in what it looks like when a car runs through the side of a house? The house was knocked off the frame on 2 sides, or off the foundation. Oh, God. And then also, people have let me know that Richie from Boston today said that YouTube didn't delete my channel. I deleted my own channel. Richie from Boston said that, hold on, I can just prove this real quick here. Let me see here. What channel does it have me sign into? So my Zachary K profile was deleted all the way. I could not get to my email. I could not get to my blog. I could not get to my YouTube account. I had to petition Google, and they brought back the email and the blog. But here's the definitive proof that I did not delete my own channel, which is just, Richie from Boston's another. Look at what Richie from Boston is, Jewish, you guys. Pay attention. I guarantee you Russian vids is Jewish. 100%. For all of you who are like, well, how could a Jewish guy claim to be Christian? You guys don't understand your history. Jewish people made your religion for you. Your religion's fake. Fake. I was ranting too much earlier, I forgot. I was telling you how Jewish, or Jesus is 74, so is Jewish, so is Masonic. Jesus Christ is 74. You got Russian vids giving you really stupid information and telling you, he's greater than thou because he's a Christian. That's what the whole religion's for. This is called steering sheep. It's why there's so many sheep references in the Bible. It's a book for sheep. The word sheep equals 53. Once upon a time, it was the 53rd day of the year that they told the world about Dolly, the cloned sheep. News for a nation of sheep. And thank you again to the man who sent me this book in the mail. Made my day. Perfect book. 1961. It was all known. But anyway, here's the proof. Here is the proof that my channel was deleted by YouTube. Zachary K. Hubbard. This account has been terminated for violating YouTube's community guidelines. So Richie from Boston, another guy that uploaded a lot of videos that my car crash was fake, even though it clearly wasn't. Showed the police report and everything. Gave everybody the police number that you can still call to this day and verify. And why did I let everyone know? Because I had just been threatened by somebody else on YouTube. I want people to see what's really going on in this world. Montegraph, he's been bullying people for 10 years, He doesn't scare me one bit. You can crash a car into my house. Then Montegraph made a video about me and a dead squirrel, and a dead squirrel showed up on my property. Montegraph, I feel bad for the squirrel, But it's not hard to see what's going on, you guys. Richie from Boston at the beginning of this year made a video saying he was going to pass me in subscribers. He was going to blow past me. And you know what's funny? Russian vids did this a few years back too. And Russian vids, after he said that, passed me. But anyway, think about this. Just use some logic. Richie from Boston at the beginning of this year had been on YouTube for over 6 years. And he had 30,000 subscribers. That's about 5,000 subscribers per year growth. And I know how his channel grew. He had less than 10,000 a year before he had 30,000. Or maybe a year and a half before that. So he gained his 20,000 subscribers, which can happen. I mean, you guys, I was only here for 2 years, and I went from 0 subscribers to 58,000 subscribers in a little more than 2 years. But anyway, in more than 6 years' time, he got 30,000 subscribers. When he had 30,000, I had 40,000, and that's when he said he was going to blow right past me. Here we are in the middle of this year, where he began with 30,000, and his channel has 100,000 subscribers. The same day he hit 100,000, my channel got deleted. And by the way, you guys, my channel got deleted exactly 187 days after my house was crashed into. 187. And I'd already picked out that book title because I know that's the number that they really work by. So that's just confirmation that I need to keep this book title. Somebody can persuade me otherwise. Maybe there's a better 187 title I could use. But I think that has to be the title, Gematria. We're putting it back on them. We're teaching people the code. We're showing how easily it can be used. How they do it. So here's Richie, 100,000. He gained 70,000 subscribers in 6 months after taking more than 6 years to get 30,000. That said, I did grow 18,000 subscribers from the beginning of the year. I was at 58,000 and something when they deleted my channel. So at the rate I was going, by the end of the year, I would have been close to 80,000, maybe 70-some thousand. But the difference is my growth is organic. I've never paid for subscribers. Richie from Boston, it's very clear he pays for subscribers because when you pay for subscribers, you also get the troll bots that work for you. And for anyone who's ever exposed Richie from Boston, you know how those troll bots show up in a hurry. And they all start thumbsing up their comment, and Google lets it happen. YouTube lets it happen. You know, next thing you know, you have 20 people attacking you, and the comments got 40 thumbs up, 50 thumbs up. It's just a sign, you guys, you know. I called Richie from Boston out at the end of last year for scamming people. Richie from Boston said his computer was on fire during a live stream and told people all the details about it, stayed on the line, on the air, telling people about his computer on fire for minutes, did his regular sign-off, and then raised money for a new computer. Just mocking his audience. So Richie from Boston, the goon, you know, he put up this video, and in the video he says that I deleted my own channel because I'm trying to sell my book. This is a guy who does nothing but sell junk on YouTube. And he tells his audience that the best way to sell stuff is to delete your own channel. So Richie, I'm someone who's never sold anything until this book comes out, which is a book that's well worth writing. You're someone who sells stuff every week. How come you don't delete your channel? You know? He just told his audience in the video that I deleted my channel on purpose, which is a blatant lie, which I already showed people the proof that I didn't delete my channel. You know, he says it's the oldest trick in the book. So Richie, oldest trick in the book, delete your channel, buddy, and then go away forever because you don't contribute anything. All of your videos are a joke. All of these people, you guys, who call me out, every last one of them, they are all fraud. They provide nothing that is of benefit. Anything that you think is of benefit is because you're deceived. They are misleading you. All of their videos take you to a place you don't want to be. And for any of you who think I'm a shill, I mean, you don't know what shill is. A shill is someone who misleads you. Show me where I've ever misled anyone. I showed you from the beginning, from the first video, the numbers to look for. Told you, 33, 47, 74. They hit all the time. You know? Gave you the winning numbers and the winning knowledge to see through the lies. And the longer I've been here, the more my points have been backed up again and again. And I got all these people who work so hard to slander me. I have a website made in my honor called Gematria Fraud. And who made that? A Jewish man, Gary Grinberg, who charges people $3,500 and makes them sign a non-disclosure to learn what I teach for free. And not only that, he's been doing it for a long time, and he's not a fraction as good at it as I am. Case in point, in the time I've been here, I've called almost every sports championship correct. So many people want to say, well, he didn't get it right when he picked it from the beginning of the season. For all the ones where I didn't get it right from the beginning of the season, which hasn't been many, I've corrected the pick and showed you who was going to win, which is, again, the purpose of the knowledge. And even in those ones where I haven't been right from the start of the year, the teams that I've given you to look out for, the overall group, it's always been there. So, you know, predictions, that's not the point of my work. The point of my work is to learn the code, to understand the code, to use the code, and use your own mind. I've never said rely on me. You know, trying to lead you guys, leading you to the water, leading you to the knowledge so that you can empower yourself. And, you know, Russian vids in this video, he made fun of the fact that, you know, I talked about the presidency. I know that the whole nation's a joke, but the nation needs a leader. When was the last time this nation had a real leader? You know, I know how to lead. That's why there's so many people who've started doing this work. You know, I brought something new into the world. It's been influential. It's growing every day. That's what a leader does. Russian vids. What could he say he ever contributed? What has Russian vids brought into the world? Nothing. Nothing. He just takes other people's material, puts advertisements on it, and slanders the authentic people. Who does that in the world? You know, there's a gang that operates that way. It's the gang that rules over us. The most deceitful. And here's Matty D for truth. I mean, here's another guy who started making videos around the same time as me. And here's another guy who continues to say I'm Jewish. Look, Matty D, I know you're watching because you watch all my videos. You're an idiot. I explained to everyone that my dad does not know who his real dad is. Just as a lot of men in this world don't know who their dad is. He had an adoptive father. His adoptive father's name was Hubbard. My dad, when he was about 30 years old, his mother, who's not the nicest person in the world, told him that his father, his real father, was named Greenblatt. And 24 hours later, she said that she made that up. It wasn't true. But my dad looked for a long time. He called every Greenblatt in Oregon and Washington. Didn't find out anything, you know? Could we really be Greenblatts? Yeah, we could be Greenblatts. But, you know, all these people saying a call for an uprising made an hour-long video that Russian Vid shared. He said, oh, that's proof that Zachary K. Hubbard's connected to NBC. And how idiotic is this? There's a lot of people that have the name Greenblatt, you know, not connected to anybody at NBC. Got the most low-budget production there ever was. But anyway, this guy promoting the rumor that I'm really Greenblatt. He said my name's Jason Greenblatt. No. What? My name is Zachary Keith Hubbard. Always has been. Likely always will be. Maybe someday I'll change it to Zachary Truth Seeker. Because, I mean, I really don't have a bloodline to the name Hubbard, but so many people are just running away with this. You know, Zachary's Jewish because his... I mean, what? I told you guys what the story was. No, I was raised Lutheran. But yeah, it's possible that in, you know, my ancestry that there's Jewish ancestry. A lot of people have Jewish ancestry. Doesn't make you Jewish. In the Jewish faith, it's got to be on your mother's side. My mother's Norwegian and German. But anyway, you know what? Just all these people that just spread all this false information. And, you know, Matty D, every video, continues to make videos about me saying the same thing. Zach lied about his house being robbed. No, I didn't. You know? And, you know, I mean, this guy's just a shameful character. You shouldn't be saying that somebody lied about something when they didn't lie about it. He says my story changed. Yeah, moron. The story evolved, not changed. Remember? First I was robbed. Then my neighbor began harassing me. Then he filed a restraining order, which a judge upheld. And then he bothered me for months. And then March 3rd, after buying the exact same vehicle I drive with the money he stole, he's honking his horn in his front yard, flipping me off out the window. He lives right across the street. On March 3rd of all days, 3/3. Well, I ignored it that day. Actually, I called the police department. I said they need to do something about my neighbor that robbed my house and who has this restraining order over me and who's harassing me, who went out and bought the same vehicle as me, who has no job. How do you go out and buy, you know, a relatively nice vehicle with no income? And, you know, police never responded. I didn't even get a call back. I had to leave a message with the police chief or whatever. They didn't even call me back. 4 days later, I'm out mowing my yard for the first time, March 7th, I'll never forget it, and this idiot comes out of the house and starts screaming at me and trying to get my attention. I told him to F off and go back in his house. Guess what happened? Had 5 police cars there in 5 seconds. Arrested. You start to add 2 and 2 together, you start to pay attention to what's going on, and I've explained about everything that's been going on. It's not hard to see. I've had 2 neighbors move in since I moved here. They're now the 2 neighbors, ones who robbed my house, the other ones who crashed into it. That doesn't sound suspicious to you? This idiot, who's another Jewish person, Matty D is Jewish. I don't know why he keeps accusing me of being Jewish when he's a Jew himself. And that's just what's so sick about this. These are Jewish people hiding behind the camera accusing me of being a Jew. It's like they know that the truth community knows that that's who's behind the tyranny. So I guess that's the way they can discredit people, by saying they're Jewish. But nobody could ever find any proof I was Jewish. And honestly, if I could get on the camera and put my dick in the camera right now, I would, just to make a point, because I'm uncut. Find a Jewish man who's uncut. You can't. Then all these trolls would really be jealous. But thank you. I just want to say also at the end, thank you to the people who make the videos, like this guy right here, Digital Broadcasts. This man right here, Il Bundy 420. Thank you to these people who make the videos exposing the knowledge. And also thank you for putting my name in the title, because that helps, other people see that more people are doing the work and making the discoveries. I mean, this is the problem with the world. The naysayers, the negative, the ill-minded, they work hard to deceive. The people, they don't do much to fight back. And that's why if you go through YouTube, even though I've done nothing but work here for 4 years straight to pump out knowledge, almost thanks to Tony. Tony's got a shout out video. But Tony, man, Tony, I love you, brother. I got you linked on my blog, but man, you got to stop writing out sentences and saying this means that. That's not the way to do it. Here, this British guy. I did a debate with this guy and asked him why he thought I was shill of the year, and he took down this video. Then after we do the debate and he takes it down, he puts it back up. I mean, another guy who doesn't put his face on the screen, probably Jewish. But I mean, just almost every video ever made about me, completely negative. Where's the positive videos, Where's the positive videos? Oh, man. Just look at all these videos. How many videos were made that the car that crashed into my house was fake? For all of you who made a video that the car crashed into my house was fake, again, what you guys should do to make up for yourselves is send a donation to my campaign. I had to pay money out of my pocket to get this fixed. I couldn't get insurance to cover everything. I lost a bunch of things. Not only that, I lost a bunch of things that were broken from where it crashed in. Can't replace those because didn't even have, I had to pay for the money to get the repair done, which took forever. Had to fight the insurance and waste 3 months of my life on the phone, it seemed like. And just all these people that are flat earthers that hate me. So anyway, you guys, long video. It's because I'm not going to make another one for a while. I'm going to be finishing the book. Calculator down below. If the channel gets deleted, don't forget the name Zachary K. Hubbard. I'll continue to use that name to put out the work. And for everyone who wonders why I use my middle initial, it's just because there's several Zachary Hubbards in the world. When I was in college at Arizona State University, there were 40,000 people on campus, and I noticed that at the school while I was there was one other Zach Hubbard. I was like, look at that. 40,000 people, 2 of us are Zach Hubbard. So, you got to distinguish yourself. You go on Facebook, you type in Zach Hubbard, how many are there? There's 100 Zach Hubbards. He used his middle initial because that's what the Illuminati do. I mean, just so many of these stupid ideas. And also, you guys, I should point out, somebody sent me that in the mail. Can you see that back there? The bumper stickers. Got Gematria. Zachary K. Hubbard on YouTube. What did I do? They sent me 2 sleeves of them. Oh, it's the other one's behind the other one. But anyway, that person made these bumper stickers, and they've been giving them out, I guess, in their community. I appreciate things like this. And you guys don't have to promote my name. It says Got Gematria, and then it has my name below. But just get out the knowledge about Gematria. That's what they're trying to suppress, because this is the code to see through the lies. And can't be emphasized enough. There's no skill you could learn that's more useful for seeing through mainstream deception. And I proved that a million times. All right, truth seeker. Till next time.